In hour one of this program, we talk quite a bit on the Big Five, and at 9:30 about François Legault. 3 years of François Legault in the CAQ being the ruling party in this province. I just want to read one text message here, because as I asked you to rate the last 3 years, and a listener wrote me this: hard to give Legault in the CAQ a high score or a low score. They govern so similar to the Liberals, it's hard to tell the difference. Big difference is Bill 21 immigration, Bill 96 language. You could try and blame them for the first wave of the pandemic, but the conditions of the CHSLDs have been a disaster for decades, and the blame for those really belong to the PQ and the Liberal government. That last sentence, right, the blame, because when you think about this government and you know, when things were bad in this province, you think of the first wave of the pandemic, but I think the Quebec voter has, by and large, feels the same way. CHSLDs, yeah, disaster, but the blame goes to decades of not caring by PQ and Liberal governments. They don't peg it on François Legault. With that in mind, whatever the CAQ is doing, it's clearly working. They're leading in the polls, but not just leading in the polls. They're crushing it. 47% of Quebecers say they would vote for the CAQ if the election was today. And the election, not so far away. It's in a year, on October 3rd, 2022. Why is the CAQ doing so well? Let's find out from the man who knows. He has got his crystal balls. He has got multiple computers at his disposal to crunch the polls, and he's on the show right now. Philippe J. Fournier from 338canada.com. He's a Macleans contributor, a L'Actualité contributor, and he's with us this morning. Philippe, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Elias. Long time no speak.
Yeah, how was the federal election for you, brother?
92% correct winners. Overall, every party in the margins of error. So really happy, but I fell into a post-election coma. I just woke up to talk to you this morning.
I love that. Everyone needs some recovery time. Even if it means going to Tofino, everyone needs some recovery time.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
All right, let's get to the matter at hand here. The blockbuster polling over the weekend. François Legault, the CAQ, 47%. Philippe, first off, is this du jamais vu, or is this history repeating itself in your perspective?
This is a very good question, because I sometimes we look at numbers that surprise us, that make us raise our eyebrows, and then I wonder, well, we've seen this before, right? And I try to think, when have we this? I mean, Monsieur Couillard won overwhelmingly in 2014, but he was never really beloved by the Canadian electorate, by the Quebec electorate, in polls. Same thing for Pauline Marois. Jean Charest, in his first win back in 2003, had 46% of the vote. But again, he was not beloved. We have to go back to Lucien Bouchard. Lucien Bouchard lost the popular vote in his only election in 98. Then you have to go back to Jacques Parizeau. Jacques Parizeau was tied with the Liberals in the popular vote. Then you have to go back to Robert Bourassa in the 80s. So it's been that long. Of my adult life, we've never seen a government dominate so much the numbers. And what is more fascinating, Elias, about all this is that when you look at the numbers, not only of CAQ voters, but voters of other parties, when we ask the satisfaction rate of François Legault among other voters' parties, well, among Parti Québécois voters, 69% are satisfied. So that's more than two-thirds of PQ voters who are satisfied. Among Liberals, it's 44%. So almost half of Liberal voters are satisfied with the CAQ government. Even though they may not agree on everything, they agree with most of the handling, including the pandemic. And the number that really, really hurts is the best prime minister candidate. So this is a typical question we ask in polls. Who among those candidates would be the best prime minister? François Legault, among PQ voters, beats Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, the PQ leader. So more PQ voters right now would prefer to have François Legault than Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon. That just blew me away.
Well, you're giving us so much perspective here on just how broad the support is, right? When you point out that 45% of Liberals say, you know what, decent job by the CAQ and François Legault, and when you point out that the number one pick for Premier of Quebec amongst PQ voters would be François Legault, geez, that seems like it's broad support. Is that something that's different here?
It really is. It really is. We haven't seen this again, my adult life spans the referendum and the national question era. I think you and I are about the same age, so we've never seen this in our adult life. And the CAQ right now I'm going to update my website. Again, I have been very busy with federal politics, but with this new poll, this new Léger poll, the CAQ could win 100 seats out of 125 at the National Assembly. The Liberals would be left with only their Anglo ridings in Montreal. The Québec solidaire would perhaps hold on to their plateau-centric seats in Montreal. The Parti québécois would probably keep one seat, and that's Matane with Pascal Bérubé. And then we would have the question as, could Éric Duhaime in Quebec City grab a seat from the CAQ? I don't think so, but he could finish second in the Quebec City area. And so the CAQ doesn't just want to win the next election. They want to crush it. And they could, according to the numbers right now, 1 year away from the election.
With Philippe J. Fournier from 338canada.com, and those provincial perspectives also available at qc125.com. So Philippe J. Fournier, here's the other thing. And you have the CAQ at 47%, but let's say it was the 1980s and the CAQ are gone and a party has 47%. Let's say the PQ is at 47%. You'd also have the Liberals at 32% or 35%, right? And now you got the CAQ at 47%. And then you look at everyone else, and it's like the CAQ and all of the also-rans. I mean, looking at this, Francophone voters. Look at the Francophone voters, because I'm looking at your Twitter feed here. CAQ 54%, PQ 13%, Quebec solidaire 12%, Liberals 10%, and Éric Duhaime is at 7%, is his Conservative Party there. So it's the CAQ and a bunch of also-rans. There's no competitor.
There's no competitor. Dominique Anglade has been elected leader for the Liberals about a year and a half ago now. And, I cannot see her staying on after the historic defeat she will suffer a year from now. And I know we're not supposed to do this because we don't predict the future in polling. We described a very recent past with polls. But looking at these numbers, how can the CAQ blow this a year from now? So I'm not saying the 2022 Quebec election will be boring. I am not saying that. But the storylines will be the ones about the other parties, because according to these numbers, the CAQ is the election's going to be, the votes will be counted at 8 o'clock, and at 8:05 we'll say CAQ majority. Then the story will be what will be left of the Liberals? What will be left of the Parti québécois? Is there going to be anything left for the Parti québécois? Will Québec solidaire become the real official opposition with the left-wing party? So there are many stories that are interesting, but who will win the next election unless there's a major scandal that I don't foresee in the near future? The CAQ could win this in a walk.
Oh, the CAQ can't watch. Like, hey guys, you can't blow this. But I will say this, Philippe. There are listeners right now. They're listening to us, and their favorite sports team has blown a 3-1 lead in the finals, and they're like, it can still happen, right? Because politics is politics. But I do want to get to the weakness of the Liberal Party. Okay.
Yeah.
Francophone voters. It's incredible. I mean, and one thing that you pointed out on your Twitter is right now the CAQ doing better amongst Francophones than the Liberals do with non-Francophones, which it's hard to do. It's hard to get better than the Liberals with non-Francophones.
Isn't that incredible, though? I mean, perhaps this will change the stereotype. The stereotype, oh, you're an Anglo, so you vote Liberal. Perhaps we'll say, oh, you're a Franco, so you vote CAQ. I know that. Maybe we'll change the stereotypes.
That's absolutely right. But so Philippe, listen, you've been like you said, you don't like to predict the future. You like to take a look at the recent history here. But it seems to me that you're making the case for there to be an abandoned ship moment on the Liberals, and maybe not abandoned ship, but jettison the leader on the Liberal side if they want to have any chance.
Well, that's the thing. When to go back to sports, sometimes you just know you're going to lose. And instead of just bringing a new captain, you just say, you know what, we'll blame this one on this old captain that we'll get rid of. I mean, it's unfair for Dominique Anglade, probably, but they're going to keep her on because they have nobody else right now. And if they did have somebody in mind, perhaps they'll wait until 2026 because the Liberals will not win the next election. They just won't. As we say in French, la chaîne a débarqué with Francophone voters. Take the last election, 2018, okay? You take away Montreal and you take away Laval. The Liberals still finish second in the province in terms of votes. And so there's a base of Francophone voters, of their very shy Liberal voters that usually show up. But right now in polls, we see the Liberals doing single-digit support in Saguenay, in Quebec City, in everywhere but Outaouais and Montreal. And so we have to reconnect with the Liberals. Will have to reconnect with those voters, and it will take time. It will not happen in a year. It perhaps will not even happen in 4 years.
Philippe, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming back on and coming out of the coma for us. I appreciate it.
Have a great day, Elias. Thank you.
That's Philippe J. Fournier. I encourage you to go check out his Twitter, which is a wonderful resource. At 338 Canada is his Twitter handle. And, of course, you can check out his eponymous website as well.